Hello, dear students. Hope you all are doing well. In order to facilitate online learning amidst this crucial situation when we all are forced to stay home in order to keep ourselves safe, I welcome you all to this very first session of online class. Today we begin with the very first chapter of economics for class 10th, development. In this chapter, we are going to learn the perspectives of development, the various indicators of development, and income as one of the important criteria of measuring development. So let's begin with the understanding of this chapter. The first important topic of this chapter talks about the principles of development. According to it, there are three principles of development. The first principle says different people have different developmental goals. Second principle says that development of one may not be development of other. In fact, it may be destructive. The third principle says that for development, people look at a mix of goals. Let's understand the first principle of development with two basic examples. One is a landless laborer who lives in a remote village, and other is a prosperous farmer who lives in Punjab. The aspirations and desires or the developmental goals of a landless laborer are that he would like to have a land of his own. Then he would like to have daily work assuring him better wages. He would also like to enjoy social equality and see his children getting better educational facilities. In contrast to this, if we talk about the developmental goals of a prosperous farmer, firstly, he would like to have a continuous flow of money coming to him in the form of higher prices for the crop he has grown. He would also like to have more laborers working for him at lesser wages, and also would like to see his children settled abroad in distant future. So we have seen that how these two categories of people have different developmental goals. In order to understand the second principle of development, let us take the example of government deciding to construct a dam. The category of people who would be benefited with this decision of government are the rich industrialists who will get a good supply of electricity to run their industries, that too at a much lesser price. But who will not be benefited with this decision of the government would be the tribal people, as their land would get submerged under water, resulting in their disruption. Thus, the development of one did not mean the development for the other. Rather, it resulted in the disruption of life of the tribal people. To understand the third principle of development, which states that for development, people look at a mix of goals. Let us consider a youth who is ready for a job. But before giving his consent for the job, apart from the salary that he would consider, he will also see that he is having a better job security. The working conditions of the place is favorable for him. He is also treated with respect, and as a worker, he will get to enjoy the other facilities that he is entitled to. So, my dear students, hope these principles have been understood by you. Let's revise the three principles once again. The first principle says different people have different developmental goals. The second principle says what may be development for one may not be development for the other. And the third principle says for development, people look at a mix of goals. Assignment for the students. On page 4, you can see table 1.1 talking about the developmental goals of different categories of persons. You will have to write the different developmental goals of these people. In our next session, we will discuss the various developmental goals.